turn
Good
this light on.
morning, everybody, and welcome here to another Kerfuffle showcase. And I am delighted to have with me Rich Abbots of Inventory Hive. How are you, Rich?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Keeping busy. Always busy.
Yeah, because it was a quiet year for you last year, wasn't it? Nothing of note happened or anything like that.
No, like it. Yeah, particularly the end of the year with the EA Masters win, it ended with a bit of a flurry, really. So, yeah, I had to break away mid-December just to come down a bit because it was one of those years. I think.
Just
Yeah,
sat
it
there
feels like it's
polishing.
been that for.
Is that it on
Feels
the
like it's been
wall?
like that for 2 years. It is, yeah. I don't know if you can see it there. Let me turn this around a little bit. You can see just there. There's Mr. Mintz there.
I can spot silverware anywhere, from any estate
Yeah.
agent. Well
This is
done.
it. I thought it'd be rude not to, really. I'm gonna be dining out on that for some time, I think.
You've got to go back, retain it, and all the rest of it. But
Yeah, absolutely.
obviously that was obviously on last year's. You did have some absolutely stellar reviews from the clients. That was one of the things that really helped you.
Yeah.
You win there as everything. But yeah, as you said, you haven't stopped, have you? You've kept developing, and today you're going to be talking to us how agents can help generate more revenue with enhanced inspection and compliance services. So, do you want to just kick us off with that then? How did this new kind of feature come about?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's one of those updates where it's always a key thing for us to listen to our customers and and what they think will add value to the offering that they have, whether they're a letting agent or an inventory provider or whatever, student comms. Obviously, compliance is a big area of that, and also showing your value added, I suppose, for landlords as well. So it was a bit of a no-brainer, really. It was always on our radar. We wanted to get virtual tours over the line last year, which we did back in September. And we also did ISO certification as well. So I think we're the only platform of our kind that's ISO 27001 registered, which is obviously all about our security and stuff. So we did those things, and then the custom reports was the next thing, which allows our agents to essentially customize and create their own reports. So if they wanted to do like a void property inspection or a Legionnaire's risk assessment report, we've got a load of off-the-shelf templates that we're giving them to save them the hassle of having to write these from scratch. Equally though, they can take what we've done and then tweak it and clone it. And I mean, this launch today is a web launch, so they can do it all on the browser, but over the next couple of weeks they'll also be able to do this on the iOS and Android app entirely offline as well. And the big kicker that I suppose the big headline with this as well is it's no additional cost. We're not charging, we're not increasing our subscriptions, there's no add-on fee for all of our agents that sort of have 50 properties or more on the platform, which is basically generally our sort of entry level for those commercial features. I mean, they start out at 30 quid a month, and yeah, so those features are all unlocked for them as of today. So yeah, and we've said the team have been really busy this morning, just kind of I suppose firefighting all the interest in it, which is great. It's lovely to do an update like that. Sometimes, historically, we haven't always done updates that land so well, but this one seems to have hit a bit of a sweet spot.
So it was one of those best ones from your client's point of view or prospects, just enriching the product basically to enable it to do more for the same price. That couldn't be any better. So really, what's the pain point it's solving though, Rich?
Yeah, so I think it's that thing, isn't it? The traditional sort of inventories, interim visits and checkouts, they seem to have their own sort of format these days that are expected, for an agent to produce. And obviously we've always tried to offer a little bit more with that, by having 360 photos and the way that the reports are produced. But the big thing with this is, some agents, for example, will do Legionnaire's risk assessment reports as standard. Obviously, it's not a legal requirement, but it is considered best practice. Now, up until now, they could have, manipulated our reports a little bit, but they couldn't change the titles or the sections or whatever. And as I say, things like a void inspection for some agents is a standard thing if they take a new instruction on. And up until now, they would have just used this and done an inventory and kind of, tweaked it. So it wasn't, it wasn't great. So it was almost like they had a bit of a workaround before, whereas this just totally opens it up so they can, add their photos, their questions, like risk ratings and stuff as well. So it just means that they can also differentiate themselves from the competition by the way that those reports are put together. They can have it light touch or really heavy, and and obviously we're just kind of helping them along with that, really.
So you were doing the classic thing that all good companies do. Seeing your clients were using it, as you mentioned, that lovely techie kind of phrase, workaround, isn't it? And
yeah,
almost Yeah, just making it work, but not square pegs in round holes, isn't it? And he said, look, there's a real need here for us to do that. The
Yeah.
clients clearly want that. So just adding that bit more customization and flexibility in the product to cater
Yeah,
for.
this is it. I suppose, for us in the prop tech world, where we started, sort of 5 years or so ago, it was about having that sort of minimum viable product that did the basics, but in line with what the vision was. And ours was always about having that interaction with tenants and having it all audit trailed, so it was fair. And obviously that proved to be the right choice, because we are in that more tenant centric world now, where tenants are treated more like customers. And so it was important for us to kind of go through those motions. Like, we've got some big stuff coming in the summer, which I can't say too much about now, but we're really excited about that, because and that has really been driven, probably for the first time, that we've done we've actually done market research, other than just having a chat with our existing customers and hearing through the grapevine they want something. We've actually gone out and done, we're doing some really detailed research about the current way agents are doing it, to understand those pain points as a starting
Yeah.
point. I mean, we kind of pick up on that organically by having conversations, and that's what all of our updates have been based on, that up until now. But this particular one that we're pushing out in the summer, is going to solve a massive problem that agents spend, ultimately save them lots of time. I won't say no more.
I was going to say, stop teasing me now. Let's deal
I
with
know,
the
yeah.
answers we've got at the moment. So you mentioned minimum viable product. Where is it actually up to? Is this now live for people to use?
Yes, yeah.
Where's it up to?
Yeah, so we pushed it live on the web version this morning, and we pushed an email out to all our database. So it's there for them to play with. And the only caveat to that is we've got the iOS and Android app update lands
Yeah.
in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We thought we'll get people engaged with it. We're going to add to the off-the-shelf templates, because we're going to have a full, I think there's about 7 or 8 of them now. So we've got things like block management inspections in there, Legionnaires risk assessment, fire door inspections, fire risk assessments, HMO checklists, but we're going to be adding to that. But they can go in and play with it now, and then in the next couple of weeks, when we're happy with all the testing of the offline app, because that's a big kicker, of course. Agents want to go out and work offline on their smartphone or their tablet. So yeah, and they'll be able to do that in the next couple of weeks.
What I really like about it, Rich, is that you thought about it on that kind of omni platform approach, haven't you? You can clearly use it on the
Yeah,
web, but you've also got the ability to have it offline, which is what the users want, isn't it? Really, to be able to have that
yeah.
optimized experience wherever they are, and let's be honest, whatever the signal's like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing for a platform like ours, is obviously is the offline app development is quite heavy by its nature, because obviously you've got people using, some are on a Samsung, some are on Apple, some are on, all sorts of different devices, and it's about how we support that. So, right down to when somebody logs in, we can check their storage for them. And so if ever there's any support issues, we can help them out and say, well, look, you need to clear some storage, because you know devices will need so much spare storage, and all of that stuff. So yeah, the development's heavy, but then I suppose for us, it's a bit of a barrier to entry for people wanting to compete with us, because
Oh,
we've
it's
been
hard to
doing
break. Yeah,
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 this is it. We've been doing that offline stuff, for years now, and obviously we understand it. We know how to support people, because that's a big kicker with a platform like ours. Your support has got to be really hot, because if it isn't, then you just have people that aren't educated. They get frustrated because they're not maintaining their devices properly, and you never get that with just a browser-based stuff. But that's why we thought it wise to just do it on the browser, initially, get people used to it, get some feedback. If we need to tweak something, then before we do the app changes, then we can get that feedback and get it right.
cool. And what would you, if you had to kind of summarize it, what would you say the three main USPs are that this is going to drive and give to agents?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so the ability to differentiate, the ability to generate more revenue by offering different types of compliance reporting. So as I said before, whether it's Legionnaires risk assessments, and then the other thing, of course, is the cost. Because really what we're offering now is, in terms of value for money in our subscription, we're unrivaled, really. Uh, you know, especially considering the other stuff that's underway already as well. So I think we've come a long way, really, competing with providers that have been going for twice as long as we have in most cases. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the bit we take pride in. That
Yeah, yeah,
continuously.
exactly right. Because sometimes, you are at a very competitive price. I mean, just summarize it for people again, Rich, just so they understand. Because you're
Yeah,
really in a wonderfully sweet place. But as we said, it's really important to point out, even though you're able to do it at that price, the
yeah,
reason you've got that wonderful thing on behind you is that you were reviewed extremely highly
yeah.
by so many of your clients. So they're clearly you've got that wonderful combination of a cost-effective solution with customer service backing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, for us, we have what we call, our commercial users essentially. So that's like your letting agents, inventory companies, student accommodation, build to rent, managing 50 properties or more. We will, like a standard letting agent is £30 a month, cancel any time. And for that, they can do as many reports as they want against those 50 properties whenever they like. So there's unlimited users as well, unlimited storage, and that's a big thing really. Like with platforms in general out there, there's a lot of hidden costs. Like if you add a user on, you get charged every month for having another user, and then so with us, the only caveat to that is if you want to entirely custom brand the whole look and feel of your login. So instead of having Inventory Hive on your login, and you can customize the web address as well, the domain. So that's an extra £35 a month for those that want that. But the vast majority are quite happy having, the standard package. With the standard package, all their reports, the PDFs have logos on. As well, so the reports themselves are always entirely custom branded, and then those that want to pay annually with us get 2 months free. So yeah, and that's the thing really. I think it's one of those platforms where when you work out the inbuilt paperless processes and the fact that it avoids those disputes as well, it's a really cost neutral platform because it's something you would be doing otherwise, but often not having it sort of integrated into one system. You might be using DocuSign to send stuff out, and then
All
or have
disjoint.
yeah, or just emailing it out, or heaven forbid, printing stuff off, because that does still happen, which surprisingly.
No, yeah, the amount of businesses I've seen run by Excel and spreadsheets is incredible. But what's I'm guessing you don't have a particular your churn rate is going to be pretty low at that, isn't it? As long as you keep delivering, no one's got really an excuse to go elsewhere, have they? If it's
Yeah, this is it. It's a funny thing, isn't it? On one hand, what we're storing is valuable to agents, and could be valuable to them in the future. So that means our churn rate is low for that reason. But the fact that we've not stood still and we've kept adding new features on, I think that's definitely helped our cause. Because you could say that we're sort of ancillary service on the side of a main CRM, but that's where for us, I suppose the big kicker is integrating with platforms like Fixflow, like the Depository, other CRMs like Reapit and Propco. And then we do the same with some other university systems as well on student halls and stuff. So that's a big thing. Then once you're connected, then your churn rate is even lower. But of course, you're only as good as your last experience in this game. You've got to keep, and that could be how people experience our support. And obviously we've got really great support. Big shout out to Simon Cooper on that, who's worked his socks off in the last couple of years, and now we're growing that function as well because he's done a truly awesome job on that, as have the rest of the team in their own right. Obviously, I don't want to single Simon out, but that area is really important to us.
Yeah, it's easy to talk the talk in this area, isn't it? And luckily, you've had it, as we've said a couple of times, validated by by the biggest show around. So that's great to hear. And is it available to all agents, Rich?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's another thing as well. If somebody wants to have a trial of Inventory Hive, they can go on the website, 30 days free trial. They can go on, have a play. They get a free demo. And when we do our demos, we don't skimp on them. We don't just squeeze 20 minutes in and fly through it. We'll give a good hour. We give them lots of love, let them go away, have a play, and then we tend to sort of drop in on their account, and then by looking at their reports, we can tell them maybe some of the shortcuts they haven't used and stuff, and then we phone them up and then listen to how they've used it and how we can make that easier for them. Because we know if we invest that time at the start, we get less support again moving forwards, and that again is a challenge. It's about educating and and showing people the best way of doing things and how it's designed to be used, because like any software, people interpret things differently and they pick it up, and some are better than others, let's just say that, at how they interpret it. But
I mean, onboarding is critical, isn't it? It really is.
yeah,
There's a lot of solutions out there, and actually, they can be great once they've bedded in, but sometimes it can take a while. If you're looking at that all the time in the way you described there, and I'm guessing, as you said, if you're willing and able to give a free trial, that shows a product that actually is going to be quite, because you wouldn't do it otherwise, would you? Basically,
yeah, this is it.
that on board, so that's good. So
Yeah,
nice intuitive system to use and everything else, and you're always looking to try and improve that there, and no
yeah.
risk trial as well. So why would you not give it a go?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I can, at some point as well, whether we have time, I can just show you some of the bits on the custom reports. I can just, share my screen. I don't know
That'd be good
whether we,
if you want to do that.
yeah,
We got the share one there. That'd be
yeah.
nice as well.
Let's
And
have a quick look.
while you're bringing that up there, Rich, as well, it should be just easy if you just go to share if it comes
Yeah,
up.
yeah, got you.
I mean, obviously you mentioned before, there are similar products out there in the marketplace. What do you feel gives you the edge and makes you different though?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. What gives us the edge? I think the two-pronged thing really is understanding that this is all about having things, audit trailed. So it's got to be able to communicate with, tenants. These reports have to be shared with landlords. So the big part of that, of course, is the usability, without doubt, for us. We've always set out to be the most user-friendly platform on the market, without compromising on the results. And that,
Yeah.
I suppose, that is a challenge. And that's where we've really spent the most time, sort of trying to put that together. Can I just check that you can see my screen now?
Yeah, no, let me just if I add that to the screen now, we've got we can see that up there now, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, as I say, I'm not going to bore everybody too much, but this is a big thing for us. So when you're on the browser version of our platform, when
Yeah.
you go into the settings area, we've just got a simple tab on there,
Yeah.
custom reports,
Yeah.
and then in there we've got essentially we've got a sort of library of templates in here. You can hide these, and then you can create your own. But if I just go back to here, so here's some of the reports that we've already created, that people can just pick up and start using. And then if they want to see,
Just talk us through those there, Rich, because it's small on the screen. So what can you see? So you've got your Legionella risk there.
so yeah, you've got your Legionella risk assessment, HMO compliance, fire risk questionnaire, fire door, block managed inspections. But this is where these templates live, and they can
Yeah.
create these templates with their own sort of questions and sections, so they can have a quick look at what's in them.
Yeah.
Just by hitting on a preview, then they can close it. But what I'll do is I'm just going to jump in on here now, and just show how it looks when someone's actually creating one of these. If I add a custom report on here, let's have a quick look. Oh, I haven't published one on this one as yet. Just give me 2 shakes. I'll just go in and do that.
And all those public libraries, they're available to everyone else. You said there's no cost for any elements of that there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in terms of the cost side of things, we know that some other platforms would charge for this kind of thing, but we just felt that it's a given, really. They want to use us for all their property inspection needs. That was the master plan with that. So just while I'm talking to you now, I've just added that the report that's in the template area into my into the system, as it were, which means that when I come in here now, I can add a custom report in.
Yeah.
He says. Oh dear, what have I done? Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. So what I need to do is go in here. You can see how hot off the press it is, because I've not even set it up on my account yet. I'm just going to publish it, essentially. So once I've published my template, I can go in and then play with it. And this is the kind of thing that once you've done it once, it's there then on your account, ready to rock. So as you can see now, I've added it on. I've got my Legionnaire's risk assessment. I can jump in here, and then this really shows how easy the interface is. So you've literally got really simple yes, no, NA questions. You can add notes, you can add photos. Obviously, the beauty when you're using the app on iOS or Android, you can actually take those photos, by hitting the camera, and it'll open the camera up in the app. So you can just go in here, answer all your questions, add your notes in. And I'll just show you one more quick thing on this. Go because I didn't want this to be hijacked by a long-winded demo. But as you can see, you've got your risk ratings in here as well. So the
Yeah.
user face is, the interface is really simple to follow. And then you end up with a report that looks a little something like this.
Okay.
So here's your Legionnaires risk assessment report. Again, they can call these reports whatever they want. They can do, they can dream up their own reports with their own question sets, and then all of the sections get automated in terms of an index on the front. So if I wanted to jump to questions about the water temperature outlets, I can do. It will take me straight down into that area. So nice and intuitive. Also, they hit on the images, it will open up an online gallery for them as well that they can have a look at.
Nice.
And that's the key. People want to be able to zoom in on these pictures, download an image, and jump around it. So hopefully that kind of gives people a bit of a feel for just how simple to use it is, really.
Yeah,
I'll stop sharing my screen now, mate, and I'll just.
So let's just take it. Let's get about there. So, so that's really. I mean, obviously, the first thing about that is. It's clearly you've got a lot of comprehensive. There's a lot of detail in there, but actually you can't really go wrong as long as you're just going through that simple process of going through the questions, is it? So that's really quite really cleverly thought through.
Yeah, exactly, and that. But it's that big thing when people think, "Oh, I've got to create my own custom report template." It sounds quite hairy for them to have to do that. So and it's just little things like we'll be doing some live streams on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube at the end of the week on Friday, and that is all about the usage of it. So how do you go in and copy one of our off-the-shelf templates into your library? How do you then go in and edit those and all of that stuff? So yeah, and as I said before, as part of I suppose the theme of this is about how agents can generate more revenue from that. I suppose each agent will be different, but I know some agents will do Legionnaires risk assessments as a standard, and they put that in their terms of service, because actually there is a risk that if a property has been vacant for a couple of months, and certain steps aren't done, like the system's not flushed, and the boiler temperature is not set to above 60 degrees, some basic steps that actually someone did fall ill, they're responsible if they're managing that property. And therefore some agents will write that in and say, right, we're going to charge X amount for a Legionnaires risk assessment report. I suppose double-edged sword really then gives confidence for the landlord, but also means that the agent can generate some more revenue while they're at it. But I think obviously the crux of that there is making sure that they're compliant. The property's safe for the tenant as well. Of course it is.
First the most important, but there's no way you should ignore it, should you? So that's really 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 good. We've just got a quick question here from Megan18 as well. Hello, Megan. Do you integrate with any CRM? I think you mentioned there Repeat. Do you want to just highlight as well? Is that with their foundations, or is that
It is, yeah. So we're on their marketplace. So we'll essentially enable the properties to be pulled through tenancies. We also send back completed reports into Repeat as well, so they can be accessed from within there as well. We also integrate with Propco. With Propco, we also file across the meter readings as well. And then of course Fixflow. Fixflow has been probably our longest standing integration, and we do some clever stuff with that one. So if a resident tenant moves in and then they raise an issue that's actually a bit of a crossover between condition, cleanliness, and maintenance, when they do that, if they say, I don't know, the shower's screen's broken or whatever, when that comes back to the person responding to the tenant's feedback, they can audit trail it in the inventory, but also then say at the same time they can say, I want to send that to Fixflow. The tenant doesn't see that bit, but it just means that it's handled, so the tenant doesn't have to report it twice. Things get to happen at the right time, and also when they're doing a checkout as well, they can flag lots of issues into one ticket and send it into Fixflow rather than sending 20 or 30 tickets if there's quite a few issues. And again, those are just things that just from experience, people saying, look, practically this doesn't work. That's when we go back to the drawing board and we change it.
God, good stuff. Mega's on fire now. She's firing them left, right, and centre. They use
okay, yeah. MRI, yeah. Sorry to cut across you there, Simon. Yeah, so we've actually had some conversations with MRI. So we've got the contacts there. It's one that we're ready to go with, but we're just finishing one off at the moment with SME. We're allowed to say that because it's due to land any time. So yes.
SME's rolling out through Belvoir at speed, isn't it, at the moment?
It is, yeah, it is indeed, yeah. So again, that's one that is it's 90% done. We've just got to finish the interface part of it. But yeah, I mean, if Megan wanted to get in touch, we could certainly have a chat because you know, with MRI, we've got quite a few build to rent customers. So we could have a conversation on the agency side as well
I'll
because
introduce you to Megan. If just give us the thumbs up there, Megan, and I'll introduce you on email afterwards. There,
yeah.
as there. She just as one follow up there. What about our friend Mr. Byfield? Any conversations there at all at the depository? Or
We're integrated with depository. Have been for some time. We've also got a mutual, a very large mutual client that is using that as well. So
I don't know who that is, but I have been sworn to secrecy, and unusually for me, I'm going to keep it this time.
yeah, so so for that reason, it's the one that's going to be really tried and tested. And that's the nature of the beast, really. You know, a lot of these changes and integrations that they're driven by customers, really. It's not to say that a big customer would get more of a reaction from us, but you know, the reality is sometimes that is the case. But obviously, we want to integrate with any system out there that means we can get more customers and grow what we're doing and make customers want to stay with us.
I think that's really important to hear, though, as well, Rich, isn't it? You know, a lot of people talk the talk about it, but you still feel like they're being dragged to the development table, as it were, to do that. Other companies like your good self, you know, you do see it as delivering on it. You were talking almost as passionately about fixed flow there as I imagine Raj does when he's talking about it. And that's lovely to hear that you understand. Yeah. Ultimately, from your client's point of view, aka the agents, there's a massive win in it, isn't it? So that's so it becomes greater than the sum of the parts, doesn't it? When you do those great integrations, that's what I love about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think where we were sort of 5 years ago, or even to be honest, pre-COVID, I think that the whole integration that the tech side of things has really come to the fore now, and I suppose we recognise that for us to grow and give agents what they want, it's about kind of giving them stuff that adds value to what they do and not necessarily replacing it. So kind of making them more efficient, yes.
Yeah.
You know, taking jobs away from them, no, but and hence some of the stuff that we're doing at the moment, which I know it sounds a bit cloak and dagger, but the stuff that we launch in the summer, we're very excited about that.
I can feel your launch campaign for the 2022 EA Masters is already happening in front of me.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Well, Megan's given me the GDPR thumbs up, which we all know is allowed there. So I will send those over. For anybody
Thanks,
else,
Megan,
is you know where you can find Rich, and obviously on their website. But I'd obviously it would be remiss of me not to say go have a good look on kerfuffle.com. Have a look at their wonderful landing page. See some of the reviews that people are saying about those. You can inquire on there if you wanted, or drop the guys a line because Rich, as he said, there's no reason not to give them a go. There's a wonderful free trial there, and I'm pretty sure you'll like what you'll see on the other side of that. So it's been really useful for me today, Rich. So I just want to summarise. Really, it can help set you aside from the competition, can't it? First and foremost, by offering additional inspection and compliance services. You know, you're seen to enhance the professionalism of the report as well, without it being kind of, I don't want to say bodged, but let's say that workaround you were talking about before. And then finally, as well, just adding value to the service provided to landlords ultimately, which is what hopefully what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, essentially, you want to be able to go to a property and spend the bare minimum amount of time that you need to be there. You tag your images via the app, and then you end up with a report that looks like perhaps it's taking you a lot longer to format and look as slick as the reports do, which again is like you say, it's just adding value really to the offering for landlords.
Well, I look forward to it. As again, if you look at you have any chance of winning silverware, I'm going to be very close to you at EA Masters this year. As I said, hanging on to coattails. Hopefully we can push Mr. Mintz in your direction to present it. But for today, Rich, obviously really, really impressive, keeping on top of that and that development for your clients, and that shows the caliber of the company. And obviously let us know when you can tell us without killing us about your big summer release as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll you guys will be one of the first to know, definitely.
The first. I like the commitment there. The first there from Rich.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the first. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Hey, that's it. You're in the right zone now.
This is it. So yeah. So obviously, thank you, Simon. To you and all the guys at Kerfuffle. You've been fantastic for us.
No,
The last couple of years. Helping us showcase what we do and putting us in touch with people. So anybody not using
well,
you
we love it.
guys,
We obviously, genuinely, what we love is getting out there and echoing all the good work. I think that's all you do. We can't make we can't shout about other companies that aren't able to deliver. But when we find someone like your good selves that is absolutely tier one, it's an absolute pleasure to be able to shout about you, and made even better by the fact you're nice people there as well. So stopping the
yeah.
loving before we all start bursting into tears.
Oh no.
It's like your Oscars acceptance, isn't it?
I know, mate. I know. I want to thank my mom.
I'm going to say thank you very much, Rich. Congrats to your
Yeah,
team and keep it coming.
yeah. And thanks to Megan and anybody else who
I'll
listened
drop your
in.
line after with her
Appreciate it.
details.